The science is settled. The conversation around it is not. Is climate change really that urgent, or has the alarm itself become part of the problem? Today, we put climate urgency on trial. The case against not the science, the framing, and the verdict that actually lets you act. First, the case for urgency, because the data is genuinely uncomfortable. Let's start there. Earth has warmed about 1.2 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times. That sounds small until you realize the last ice age was only 6 degrees colder than today. Tiny numbers, huge climate consequences. The last decade was the hottest on record. So was the decade before that. Carbon emissions, ocean temperatures, sea level. So almost every key metric is moving faster than the models predicted 20 years ago. Some changes can't be undone. Greenland ice sheet melt, Amazon forest dieback, permafrost methane release. These are tipping points and they cascade. Cross one and the others become much more likely. And the people least responsible for emissions get hit first. Subsistence farmers in the global south, coastal communities in Bangladesh. For millions, climate change isn't a future problem. It's a now problem. But the case against is not denial of the science. It's a serious critique of the framing. And how we talk about climate matters. When the message is we're all doomed, people switch off. Climate anxiety doesn't translate into action, it translates into despair. The research is clear. Doomism produces less engagement, not more. Some climate policies also have real costs. Energy prices that hurt the poorest, phase-outs that hollow out working-class regions, solutions that work in wealthy capitals but not in developing countries. Honest debate has to acknowledge these tensions. We've spent decades telling people to recycle, take shorter showers, buy electric cars. Meanwhile, 100 companies are responsible for over 70% of industrial emissions. Individual guilt has been a brilliant distraction, and predictions of imminent collapse have repeatedly missed. Not because climate change isn't real, but because the timescale is decades, not years. Every missed prediction makes the next one easier to dismiss. So is climate change really that urgent? To answer that, you have to see how the conversation itself has shifted. 20 years ago, the debate was, is it happening? Today, the science is no longer the argument. The question is what we do about it, and that turns out to be a completely different conversation. Solar power has dropped about 90% in cost over a decade. Battery storage is following. Electric vehicles outsell gas cars in growing markets. The tools to massively reduce emissions exist today and to security at prices that compete on economics, not virtue. Which brings us to the verdict. And it isn't yes or no, it's both. Yes, the science is urgent. The warming is real. The tipping points are real. Inaction has real, irreversible costs. None of that is up for debate, and pretending otherwise causes its own kind of harm. But how we talk about it matters as much as the talking. Doom kills agency. Guilt kills action. The most effective climate messaging is concrete, local, and pairs the problem with a believable, doable response. The right question isn't, is it urgent? It's, what's the most effective thing I can do? And what's the most effective thing my country can do? Both answers exist. Climate change is urgent. Climate panic is unproductive. The science demands action. The framing determines whether action actually happens. Take both seriously, and you'll be more effective than either side of this exhausting argument. Vote for climate-serious leaders. Switch to a green energy supplier. Eat less meat. Fly less when you reasonably can. Reframe the debate in your circles. None of these alone. All of them together. What's your take? Is the alarm productive, or have we lost the plot? Drop a comment. If this changed how you think about climate, hit subscribe.